Live from the Export Beer Garden Studios, this is the Agenda podcast for Tuesday, the 30th of January, 2024.
The Agenda, an alternative commentary collective podcast.
Well, g'day there and welcome into the Agenda podcast. We're a day late and $1 short because of Auckland anniversary, and we do record this podcast in Auckland, and so out of respect for the region,
absolutely,
we took the day off to observe it. What did you do on your day off?
Oh, geez, that's a great question. Not much.
No, neither did I.
Because, it's like Groundhog Day for me.
Yeah.
Because this Thursday, the kids finally go back to school.
Oh, right.
So weekends and weekdays are the same punishment for me, and that is just getting wounded by your kids.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to Thursday.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a great day.
Yeah, it's going to be a great day.
For those of you listening and you can't see us on the cameras, Lane, you've had a shame shave.
I have had a shame shave. I've had a moustache or a beard for probably nigh on 3 years now. And for some reason, I just felt so much shame over the weekend. I don't know if it was a result of anything in particular, but I shaved it all off.
Yep.
And as my daughter said to me, she looked at me and went, gross. And my 7-year-old boy went, you look a little off, which I thought was a good description.
Yeah.
But good news on the home front. Managed to get a leg over, though, for the first time in 3 years.
Okay, well, hang on. So there might be something in it.
Well, that's the only reason. It's been a game of chicken for 3 years, which I finally caved.
Well, it's a great carrot to dangle. We had a big weekend. Other than that, obviously, we were down at Ellerslie for the Karaka Millions. Beforehand, we had a bit of a do at the sweatshop.
Yep.
Had a band going. You and I both got up there and had a bit of a sing-song. It was a good time.
Yeah, Macford with a band. It's Jeremy Pickford's two-piece.
Yes.
Good, great covers band.
Yeah.
Great covers band. And tell you what, people were really getting into it from midday onwards.
Yeah.
The coaches will get everyone rid of everyone at 3.
Yeah. Gates
opened at 3 at Ellerslie. She was all on.
Yeah, it was. She was a big day. Obviously, the Boys Get Paid Punters Club was going. They started the day with around 1.2 mil in the kitty.
Yeah.
Finished the day at about 600,000. So they did lose a little bit, but fired a few shots, including the biggest bet in New Zealand history, where they put $454,545.46 on Legato to win.
Should have gone each way.
Yeah,
because it came second, didn't it?
Yeah, it came dangerously close to desert something. And I was, we were both there at the track on the live stream, which was a hell of an event. The Boys Get Paid crew all around us. But the funny part about being on the live stream was I knew by far the least about horse racing. But the guys were so invested in each race that as they came down the home straight, the other two guys on the live stream would fuck off and go and watch the race because they're so invested. So it's just me on the live stream by myself. Like, don't think we won that, but we have to wait till these guys come back.
Well, they started off well with that J-Mac bet. So they had a pretty much the red hot favourite in race 1 to win, and they did. I think it was only paying $1.20 or something.
30, yeah.
And then there was a multiplier that wins the first race, and J-Mac is on a winning ride for his next. I think he's got 3. He had 3 rides, or maybe 2.
He had 3, and it was like if he wins any of them, and he won the first one that he raced in.
So there was $800,000 they won then. So it was a hell of a start. But it was just a shame that Legato bet didn't come off.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would have been the boys definitely would have been paid. But it's quite good actually. Everyone has a pretty good attitude about it. It's like owning a horse. It's the same. Don't expect to own a horse and retire on the earnings.
No.
It's about the social occasion. It's about the everything around it.
Yeah.
Is such great fun, and the whole group punting mentality is awesome.
Yeah.
Like that one race they won, and they boys get paid, like a huge chant in the in the kind of grandstand. Everyone's there for the same reason. I thought it was pretty awesome. All walks of life.
Yeah.
So not just young dudes, heaps of young dudes.
But
heaps of young girls as well.
Heaps of young girls.
And heaps of old dudes.
A lot of old dudes.
And a few old girls.
A few old ducks. And one guy came over to me at the sweatshop and was just like, how do I get involved in because you can join the Facebook group, the Boys Get Paid and all that. And I was like, oh, what do you mean? I think it's on I'm not with the Boys Get Paid, but I think it's on the TAB app. And he goes, no. You do the podcast, don't you? I was like, look, I did interview Luke on this podcast last week. He definitely thought I was Seamus from Between Two Bears.
Again.
He had that look in his face.
You've been Seamus again.
I've been
The
Seamus.
Seamus.
The shame Seamus yet again. So maybe I need to have a shame shave.
Yeah, I think you might have to actually.
To stop the Seamus.
Mind you, I've never seen you without a beard, so I'd freak out.
About once a year, I shave it off. I shaved it off last year, and my cat got a hell of a fright when I walked in the door. Who the hell's this? But yeah, it was, like you say, one of the great things about it is that you can have a great day at the races without having to pore over the form guide and kill yourself on a million different bets. You just jump in the punters club.
Yeah.
And they do it all for you. They're better minds than yours anyway.
I did one thing at the start of the day. I won $400. So I came out 400, and I did the righteous thing of putting the 400 and putting it into our joint account so my wife could see that. It was all coming up rosy for me in the weekend. Put $400 in the account, got some action. I had to shame shave. But what I did is I went on the form guide and I took everyone's tips. And at the start of the day, I think about 10 in the morning, I put in $120 into my account.
Yep.
And then I went through every race and I went their suggestions on every race, and most of them, I mean, a few of them came off, so I was kind of going up and down.
So you mean you went on the favourite or what?
No, on the tips.
From who?
Mick Guerin.
Oh, right, yep.
So I got Mick Guerin's tips, and that was the one that paid off was the one that Legato lost to the outsider who was paying $13.
Yeah.
And I went $20 each way on that horse. So I came home big, and I totally, and it's good because you get a surprise because you're checking like, holy shit, I got $460 in my account, and then you look through and go, I bet on that.
So you shorted the BGP.
Yeah. So I still had money in the BGP as well, so I was vested in both ways. But yeah, it really came out rosy in the weekend.
Yeah, and it was an awesome day at the races. Obviously, it always is.
Yeah.
And I don't know, everyone gets dressed up, everyone's in. Particularly, it's a different experience when you're in the same syndicate with everyone else there as well, because you've got this shared sort of, whoever the geezer is beside you, you know he's got money on the same horse you do.
Yeah, and how much of a pounding did that Carvery get?
Oh, mate, I gave it a hiding myself.
I don't know how many cattle beasts and how many pigs suffered at the hands of the Boys Get Paid on Saturday. Like 850 people hit that Carvery at pace.
Yeah. No, I did too. Scalloped potatoes, particularly delightful, and
And Lee Hart paid a visit to the live stream.
That's right. There was a bit of a hubbub going on behind me while I was on the live stream. Couldn't figure out what was going on. Turned around, Lee Hart standing behind me. I was like, "G'day, Lee," and then I was like, "Why has he brought security?" Oh, that's Christopher Luxon.
Oh,
and so I just about got. So he was sort of milling about, saying "G'day," kissing babies, that whole thing.
yeah.
But he said he'd jump on the live stream, and just before he went to leave, I saw him about to leave, so I took the headphones off and I went to just tap him on the shoulder and say, "Oh, do you want to jump on the live stream beforehand?" As I reach out, security grabs my arm. It's just like, hey. I was like, "Oh,
No
sorry."
touching.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, sorry, I was just going to assassinate him." But since I can't, if he wants to jump on the live stream, he can. And they were like, "Oh," and he, to his credit, he was like, "Yeah, I said I would." And just before he jumped on, the other guys that were on the stream were like, "What should we ask him?" And I was like, "Oh, ask him about the treaty bill," and then pass the headphones over.
Where'd they go?
I don't think they did ask him. Don't know if that one got through. But yeah, so that was the Karaka Millions. It was a hell of an event on the Saturday. Big after party. I made the wise decision to bounce almost as soon as the last horse had run.
Yep.
We had one more drink, went and watched the band, and then Joe Jury tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Let's get out of here." And I was like, "That's the smartest move." Because nothing good was about
And
to
that
happen.
came from Joe Jury, which is unusual for him.
Yeah, he has a smoke bomb in him. It's usually if we're at the pub and you see him put his backpack on.
Oh, yeah, no. And he doubles, he puts the thumbs under the straps,
Yes.
and you know he's good to go. Like he's about to jump out of a plane and parachute into war-torn Afghanistan or something.
Yeah, it's like it's a physical representation of the parachute he's about to pull and just see it. And so I took that. That's been my only New Year's resolution, is take every available opportunity to leave any drinking situation.
Yeah.
It's working for me.
Just going back to the Karaka Millions, should we get a horse?
Oh, definitely.
We need to get a horse.
I watched that Dream Horse movie over the holidays. It's about the Welsh township, and about 10 of them got together and bought a horse.
Yes.
And just the way that brought them together.
It's a community. It's
Yeah.
a community thing. I mean, look, we can get the audience involved in well. We can issue shares to all the audience who join.
We've got enough people.
Yeah, let's just do it. I mean, I've owned a couple of horses.
Yeah.
Your Face famously was a horse that got snuck through the Jockeys Association because you screamed "come on your face" down the home straight. Mm-hmm. It didn't win its trials. it just bombed, so it actually got put out to pasture, never raced, which was disappointing for us because we felt like we'd waste the greatest name of all time on that horse. Also, it raised red flags to the Jockeys Association around people naming horses that you could say, come on, your titties, your face, which, etc. But then we got another horse, a replacement for that one, and we got it out of Windsor Park Stud in Cambridge, and it was Rodney Schick who helped us get this horse, who we went to school with. And so the next horse was called This Time Rodney, because we were badgering him going, this time, Rodney, can you get us a decent horse?
Yeah.
And then someone in the group says, how about we call it This Time Rodney? And then he wrote back, you're not fucking calling it This Time Rodney. And then we're like, sold. It's called This Time Rodney. He refused to call it This Time Rodney. He called it something else in the stable and everything. But its official name was This Time Rodney. It won 4 races.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it won its first race. It won the race 1 at the Wellington Cup Day. It had some great wins.
What a day that must have been.
Oh, so good. And I mean, we made a little bit of money, but not heaps. There was about 20 of us in the syndicate. And any money we piled straight back into the social fund. So people were like, oh, can I withdraw? I was like, get fucked. And so it was racing in Taranaki, and we chartered a single prop plane to fly from Hamilton to Taranaki, and it had no toilet on it, and there was basically 8 dudes boozing up, and we had like a 20-litre container that everyone was urinating in, and it was like, it sounded great, private plane.
Yeah.
It was very basic.
Yeah.
And our mate Dog flew it, which was even more dangerous. And then we do things. I was racing in Matamata, and we hired a bus and a driver, and we took us over to Matamata, stopped at Matamarua at the Red Fox on the way back.
Yep.
Got chased out of the Red Fox when it was karaoke night, and someone got up and sung Nature of Love, Once a Warrior's song. It's in nature.
Yeah.
While the other person swung a rule around their head. And so we had to run out of there. So it's great times.
Yeah.
We had great times. Unfortunately, this time Rodney got an injury and had to put it out to pasture, and it's a breeding horse now. But we had the greatest times. And you go into the winner's circle, and even beforehand to the trainer, and you've got to talk to the trainer when they're in the area, the warm-up area, and everyone's fucking berating their trainers, like, to tell the jockey, do this, do that.
Yeah.
And our trainer would come out and goes, you guys, what do you guys want to do? And we're like, we got no fucking idea. Like, we're all dressed up like fucking idiots. And he's like, God, I love you guys. He's like, and the trainer, bless him, he's like, he actually wanted to perform more for us than he did for his Hong Kong and Chinese owners, which is heaps of, because they
actually pay his bills.
They just berate him the whole time. But he's like, you guys come to the races, you don't actually care if your horse even makes it to the start line. And if it wins, you guys go ape shit. If it doesn't, you don't care, which makes me want to do even better for you.
Yeah.
Opie Bossum raced a couple of times.
Really?
On This Time Rodney. It was not old mate Noel. I've forgotten his last name.
Gallagher.
He raced him most of the very old battler. But like I say, in a heartbeat, I would get another horse.
Okay.
But I think we need to go all in though and just actually buy one.
We need to, We need to work on that behind the scenes, and let us know if you'd be keen to get involved in that as well. All right, time for a quick break. We'll be back to talk a bit of NFL. Over the weekend, a couple of very big games in the NFL lane. I'd love to say that I knew what the conferences were called. One of them is the AFC. I think the other one's the NFC. I don't know what those mean. But what I do know is that my fantasy football group chat fired up for the first time since the winners were announced. And they were big games. I think that one of the biggest takeaways for me this weekend was that sports fans hate Taylor Swift so much. I know we said we weren't going to talk about it, but that they had been rooting against the Chiefs, who had been like America's sweetheart team for quite a while.
I can see why.
Yeah, because it was the images of when they eventually won and they beat the Ravens 17-10. Travis Kelce, it's just the videos of him and her. It's just a bit sickening.
Yeah, the media are loving it, and they're just going over the top, and that's what's pissing off all the sports fans.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck off, man. Jesus.
Yeah.
So I can kind of understand why they're doing that, and they're all going to be going for the 49ers in the final, which must hurt people as well, because the 49ers are potentially the most hated team in America as well.
Yeah, and 2 very similar kits as well, so it's going to be very confusing. I always confuse those 2 teams. That 49ers game was a very tense one, 34-31, and I think it was all tied up with only a couple of minutes left to go. That's what caused the group chat to blow up.
Ah, right.
And that was yesterday, so for any Aucklanders who were able to sit around and watch that, it was a godsend.
Well, this is the only time of year I give a shit about NFL.
Yep.
Is this the semi-finals
Yep.
and the Super Bowl.
One of the
I'm a 2-week-a-year NFL fan.
Yeah, it's the same with the NBA. Like a lot of people just follow when the finals are on, like the finals, and then maybe watch the All-Star game or something like that. But I like the way they do it. So they've just had that, then they have a bye week, and then they play the final, the Super Bowl, the week after that. And it's good for a contact sport because it gives you a week to make sure that all your guys are there. Yeah. Because in the NFL, like when you're allowed to point your helmet at the side of another guy's knee, you need another week.
Yeah, and minus 38 degree, even where your bones are so brittle they just snap.
Yeah, and I just wonder maybe if Super Rugby could adopt something like that. It builds a bit of tension as well.
Yeah, and they can do. I mean, I'm sure those 2 weeks are full of like media engagements and lunches and dinners and hype up, like all sorts of carry on. And the Super Bowl was in Vegas as well this year, so that's going to be pretty epic.
The NRL guys always talk about how finals week is such a nightmare or grand final week is such a nightmare because you're on TV, radio, blah, blah, blah. You're doing all this shit. You don't really get to train. You don't really get to walk through with your team. So it would be good to have some sort of little break there. And like you say, we can talk about it for 2 weeks. The tension everyone will be ready to bust by the time that game's coming on.
Yeah, and we've got the New Zealand's biggest Super Bowl party going on at Sweatshop Brew Kitchen. People have been trying to book as a big group. At the moment, I think if anything over 6, you've got to give them a call so they can arrange a table. But text NFL to 3236. We've got flights to LA to give away with Grab a Seat. We've got TAB bonus bets to give away. There's food specials, drink specials with Export Ultra. It's going to be mean. It's a great way to start the week. Yeah. Midday on a Monday. Yeah. And also, Macfit are playing afterwards as well from 3 o'clock. So you'll have Jeremy Pickford and friends blasting out tunes from 3 till 6. Because there's no point in going back to work. There's no point in going home. No. Because from 12 till 3 is Super Bowl. Yep. 3 till 6, just, change it down a couple of gears. Yep. Get into your landing gear down and just head home at 6.
Well, you got to wait traffic out as well.
Yeah, or that's 7 then.
Yeah, so that'll be a good one to get along to. And I know that all over the country, people will be having their little Super Bowl parties. Yeah, it's a novelty. You get into the wings, you get into the hot dogs.
Absolutely. Look, I don't know what the fuck is going on. No. For 99% of that game. No. And I don't actually care.
You just punish the one guy in your group who knows the rules.
Yeah, what's happening here? That? It's like, I sit down, you shut the fuck up. And then smash wings, like you're saying, smash wings, smash beers. Check out Usher at halftime. Yes. Always compare him to the LA one and say the LA one was way better. Yep. And what about the Maroon 5 one? That's what I'm going to say. That was so shit.
You should run the how good was Maroon 5 angle.
Oh, that's good actually.
Big Maroon 5 guy.
Yeah. Is anyone a big Maroon 5 guy?
God, no.
How did they do that? Did someone pull out last minute? How the fuck did they get the Super Bowl halftime, Maroon 5? They have goat photos like the chairman of NFL or something.
It's like when the Sale GP pulled out and Auckland Council redirected those funds to the Coldplay concert. It's like there was just one guy who's like, fuck, I love Coldplay. Let's invest.
Yeah, look, let's slap that big dead fish in the middle of the table, Coldplay. No one will go, ooh, okay, Coldplay.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm looking forward to that one. And like you said, we've still got, are there still tables available?
There's still, I think there's probably about, we've got capacity for 250. I think we're at about 220. Okay. So get in quick. It's a bloody good time.
All right, let's move on to some cricket. Just making sure Adam's still awake there. He hit that one very quickly. The Windies beat Aussie. At 11 p.m. on Saturday night, Shamar Joseph could not walk and was waiting in Brisbane hospital for scans on a toe that was crushed by a Mitchell Starc Yorker. By 11 a.m. on the Sunday, he was still in bed and not planning on leaving it. By noon, he was at the Gabba. 3 hours later, Joseph, who was working a 12-hour shift as a security guard just last year, was racing across the Gabba with 7 wickets, a slice of Caribbean history, and 10 teammates in hot pursuit.
I love this story because he wasn't even going to go to the ground. He was just going to feel sorry for himself. Decided to go to the ground to support his teammates. Didn't even take his whites with him. So he was in the changing room and I think he had some treatment, had some painkillers, and he goes, actually, you're feeling all right. And I think Braithwaite's like, no, you're coming on. And he's like, I'm fucking bring my whites. And apparently he was standing in the middle of the changing room with his cricket shoes on, his underpants and his cap, ready to go because I'd sent someone back to the hotel to get his whites. But it was going to take a while, so he got one of the 12th man's whites and put those on and taped up his name and number because you can't you can't come on as a different name. So taped them up, came out in the field, and then they brought his whites and he got changed down at fine leg into his whites. and then produce one of the great spells, 7 for 68.
I mean, it was ridiculous. Was it the last one that he got where he bowled? Was it coming and the off stump just went cartwheeling?
Oh, no, it was Pooh Bear.
Yeah, Hazelwood. Yeah.
Hazelwood, yeah. He's a terrible batsman. So, but he was just trying to block everything. He had Steve Smith at the other end, who for a sec I thought, this motherfucker is going to... He's going to see them home. He's going to be the All-Australian hero.
Because they only needed 200 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they... I don't know, the pink ball seems to be the great leveler, eh?
Yeah.
In these circumstances. The series is 1-1 now. But yeah, Steve Smith has been criticised a lot. He's now opening the batting. Some say that he's got such an unorthodox style, Steve Smith. He relies so heavily on hand-eye. You know how his cover drives are weird.
Yeah.
His pull shots are weird because he doesn't move his feet. He's all scratchy around. He's a little bit jumpy.
Yeah, flourishing.
Yeah.
He's got a touch of the Trent Bolts about him.
Yeah, but he's got such amazing hand-eye that he gets away with it. Some saying that obviously when you get older, it's starting to fade a little bit. But then he does something like this and almost wins them the game. I'm like, God damn you, Steve Smith.
Well, but it's wild that we're even talking about he almost won them the game, because the game before we were like, oh, this series is a dud. Why did they bother coming over if this is what they're going to do? And then all of a sudden they turned around and won it, which gives me hope for our South African series, because that's how they're talking about this South African team that's coming over to us. But it was just one of those great stories about cricket. I think we've got the audio from the last ball here as well. This is what it sounded like.
He's got to find a way to support Steve Smith here.
So there we go. Hey, shithouse commentary though.
Yeah, I reckon. Bit of a story about our man Shamar Joseph. He is from a place called Guyana, a town called Barakara, which is about, I think they've got like a main city there, and then if you go 2 hours upriver by boat, you get to the town he's from. There's around 350 people from there. He grew up with no access to internet or telephone connections. There was only one black and white TV in the town, and reportedly they only got internet in 2018.
So black and white, do they even make black and white TV still? Like, how old is that TV?
I don't think so, but it obviously showed enough cricket because he grew up idolising Curtly Ambrose and Courtney Walsh, two pretty handy idols to have. He started bowling with fruits such as lemons, limes, guavas and peaches, then eventually moved his way up to a tape ball. He worked in the logging industry, felling and chopping logs, and then following an accident in which a falling tree nearly hit him, he relocated. He was like, fuck this, I'm out of here. Went to the big town, got a job in construction, and then eventually as a security guard. His job required him to work 12-hour shifts, leaving very little time for cricketing endeavours. Eventually, with the support of his fiancée, he decided to quit his job and have a crack at this cricketing thing. Fuck, did it pay off for him.
Oh, good work from the midi.
It's such a heartwarming story.
Great work from the midi to go, just give it a hone, stop guarding that construction site or that, or that bank or whatever you're doing.
Look, if we're broke, we're broke. Fuck it. You know, you almost got hit by a tree. You could have died.
Yeah.
Let's have a crack at something. Now, when he gets his first massive IPL contract, do you reckon he gives her the flick?
100%. 100%. Yeah, he's bowling close to 150 clicks as well.
Oh.
He's got a beautiful action.
And it looks like he's bowling a tennis ball the way it sort of like bounces around. Is that
Imagine him bowling a hard lime at you in the backyard. Jesus Christ, that would hurt.
They were saying some stat about he was getting 12 centimetres more bounce versus everyone else who pitched the ball in the same spot, which is...
Oh, great. It's great stuff. It's great stuff, and it's also going to put the shits up the Aussies for the next test match as well.
Well, I saw that there was a petition online to just bin, because I think they're now into a T20 series with...
they've only got 2 tests?
Yeah, they've only got 2 tests.
Oh.
So, and I think they're playing like a T20 in Hobart or something. And I think everyone was just like, look, let's bin the T20s, have a 3rd test.
Do it in Hobart.
Surely, yeah, do it wherever, but surely we go another test.
That's not going to happen.
And just quickly sticking with cricket for a second, the Super Smash finals were on in Auckland over the weekend, and there was rain everywhere. Canterbury and Auckland were rained out, and Auckland won due to having a higher seeding, which is yet another professional sports asterisk for Auckland after they won the Super Rugby. Was it the Aotearoa one that we had?
Yeah.
Where they never beat the Crusaders, but they will still put that trophy in the shelf. And then the Blaze beat the Hinds, and I think another rain affected.
Yeah, it was reduced. Yeah, I mean, the best thing about that is I took my boys to the pub. It was great, actually, because I went to the Kestrel in Devonport. Great sports bar, actually.
Is it?
Plenty of screens, because they put on the cricket for me They had the NBA. They had the Lakers versus Golden State.
Oh, that was a great
for
game.
my son.
Double
and then
OT.
the Sevens were on in South Africa, I think, for my other son. So we didn't have to talk to each other and looked at separate screens.
Great.
And then I started gambling. And we put money on first dismissal being bowled. And what do you know? Old Lister, Ben Lister, clean bowled Chad Bowes.
Yep.
Another $40 into the account. That was great. But then we were in Devonport, and then the rain came. We're like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And then it was quite funny watching it on TV. About 10 seconds later, it just shat it down and didn't recover.
What a great bonding moment for the lane men.
Oh, so good.
Because that's a hallmark of New Zealand sports watching, is sitting in silence at a pub watching different sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so good. It was one of the greats, and just kept ordering. Beers kept arriving. Lemonades kept arriving. Hot chips and squid. I was just like, this doesn't get much better than this.
No, it doesn't.
Actually, I've had a golden weekend.
Yeah, you have.
I've actually had a great weekend.
It's getting better and better the more I listen to you talk about it. I need to come and hang out with you on the weekends. No, I don't.
Please don't.
All right, time for one more quick break, and then we'll be back with a little bit more for your agenda. The Australian Open lane was decided across the weekend.
Yep.
Sinner and Sabalenka, respectively, won the Aussie Open. Sinner was the first bloke, I love this stat, not named Nadal, Federer, or Djokovic to win since 2014.
2014, so like, what, 11...
A decade ago.
ago.
And then if you were to go back from then, so that was Stan Wawrinka.
Yep.
Then you have to go back to 2005 to find another guy that wasn't named Nadal, Federer, or Djokovic. That was Marat Safin in 2005. So, I mean, it's ridiculous the chokehold those three have had on world tennis. Like, if you wanted to be a tennis player, the last 10, 15 years has been a real shit time.
Well, it's only really Djokovic is left, isn't it? Is Nadal around still?
Nadal's around, yeah. You know, when Djokovic wasn't let into Australia during COVID because he was the anti-vaxxer, Nadal won that one.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, they're still around, still doing the damn thing.
So, yeah, I don't look act like I've got a gambling problem, but I did remember my TAB good punt was I picked that multi on the finalists. Mm-hmm. I nailed the women's finalists.
You did, yeah.
Which was the high risk for me, was Sabalenka and then the Chinese player, because I can't recall. But that was paying the most. I was like, boom, nailed it.
Yeah.
Who would have thought it was not going to be a Carlos Alcaraz Djokovic final?
Yeah, Zverev.
And neither of them made it.
Nah, Zverev fucked that one up for you because he knocked Alcaraz out, which people were saying it was a massive upset. I don't know. Zverev's he's a genuine tennis player.
Yeah.
Great kit. Questionable off-court behaviour. But he then he got eliminated by Daniil Medvedev, which lost me a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then he made the final as well. But, yeah. It was just good to see someone other than those big three.
Did you seen? Well, I don't go back to the Breakpoint, the Netflix doco where Medvedev, he's the Russian guy. Eh?
Yes. Well, he plays under no flag. But yes.
Anyway, he was playing Zverev in a tournament last year, and apparently he's a real pain in the ass to play because when he starts losing,
Medvedev.
he tries to start to put you off. He takes weird toilet breaks and all sorts of
yes.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And one time he just goes up and they've got the little wooden stays at the side of the nets to hold the net up to. He comes out and he just whacked it out with his racket, like just whacked it out so the net dropped and they had to go and reset it.
Ugh.
And Zverev's like, "What are you doing?" And he goes like, "What are you doing?" And he's just got like a smile on his face, just to be a fuckwit.
Yeah.
And it did mess with him, and he ended up beating him because he was losing. But he just does weird stuff like takes weird toilet breaks, goes off, feigns injury.
The game was late to start when Zverev played Medvedev on Friday night. Because I was watching it, they had this massive light show, bands playing, this whole thing. I think it was on Australia Day as well. And then you could see Zverev standing in the tunnel, jumping around on the spot. But he had to wait for like 10, 15 minutes for old Medvedev to come out. And you're just like,
that's
fuck this guy. So you're already furious from the start.
So he's in Zverev's head.
Yeah, he must be. But yeah, Sinner and Sabalenka. Big fan of Sabalenka.
Yeah, no, you are. Why is that?
I think it's the power game.
Is it the grunting?
And it's also her commitment to sustained excellence. She doesn't want to just be like a one-off winner. She just wants to hang around there. And I think she's doing a great job of it. All right, we've got a function on iHeartRadio where you can leave us a message, and someone has done just that. Caller, yours, please.
Hey guys, it's Sunday. Just about to walk the dog, 8 o'clock. Where the fuck's the Sunday scenario gone? hit me up.
Hey, look, we've had to soft launch into 24, okay? So it'll be back. In some shape or form, it'll be back, the Sunday scenario. But, we just like everyone else, we're still warming into 24.
Yeah, we're just looking at things we can keep, stop and start.
Yeah.
Always trying to make this podcast about 5% better.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we're tossing up whether that becomes a segment on the Friday episode or whether it comes back as its own thing. But what I would say, I would put back to you, caller, and everyone listening, if you've got any that you'd like us to debate, send them through as well.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, we're into it.
Because there's only so many times we can go over the snail in the $1 million.
Oh, I got asked that again in the weekend. Someone said while listening, they said the favourite part of the ACC commentary was when you spent 3 hours talking about the killer snail.
Yeah.
It got repeated on the Rock Drive show like about a year later, but that's classic.
What, you saying that they take other people's content and then repeat it on their radio show?
I didn't say that.
No. I mean, fuck, we do it all the time. All right, just finally, so we will bring back the Sunday scenario.
At some stage.
I might actually start listening to the Rock Drive show and see if they've got any good Sunday scenarios for us. And just finally, to mop up some of the headlines of the day, today is the first meeting of Parliament for the year, which means that the news tonight will be unwatchable. It's going to be a shit show.
Who watches the news? Do you watch the news?
Yeah, I watch the news.
Do you?
Yep, it's around
What's wrong with
dinner time. Generally, we watch it on +1.
Do you actually sit down and watch the news?
Well, no, it's a good thing to have on in the background while you're doing something else. You don't want to it's not worth putting on Netflix to then have dinner.
Question for you then.
Yes,
is
8
there
inches.
anything on the news that you haven't already seen on your phone in the previous 8 hours?
Yeah, I haven't seen any videos of Hayley Holt butchering athletes' names. So there's something in it for everyone. Sorry, that was a stray at Hayley Holt. She didn't deserve that. Yeah, no, I just think there's a whole genre in Netflix that needs to be explored, and it's shit to put on when you're not actually watching it.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't want to actually put on a show that you enjoy watching while you're eating dinner or while you're fucking
You just
around
need
your
background
phones.
noise.
You need background chatter.
Okay. Yeah.
Generally, I'll turn the PlayStation off and chuck the news on. And then we'll eat our dinner.
Okay.
And one more bit of news that's very concerning to me. The SAS, or Super Army Soldiers, the New Zealand Army, is on the verge of collapse, apparently. Senior members are handing in their resignation left, right and centre, so much so that they are being offered $30,000 retention payments to hang around for another year, because it takes about 5 to 7 years for someone to even get close to getting into the SAS. And my petition, my plea to the government is, I don't know what else you're discussing today at Parliament, could you fucking pay them? Because we need them.
Totally. Well, so where are they going? They just have to go into private security and getting paid more, I guess?
Yeah, I think that their issue is they're not getting paid bugger all. So they're like, what am I going to...
They should be paying them whatever they want to get paid.
They've also got a lot of leverage. There's a lot of wars starting to pop up here.
Yeah, a little bit here and here. They need to send
Yeah.
a few dudes just to crack a few skulls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever it is that they're asking for, pay them.
Yep.
Because surely there'd only be about 10 of them.
I'll tell you what, though, if they ever wanted to do like a hickory to Parliament or something, people would listen. Like they'd be on Parliament steps going, oi, yeah, bro, yeah, we'll pay you, whatever.
I once, this was probably one of my proudest moments, I once got confused for an SAS soldier, and that was when I stayed, a mate of mine who lived at the Burnham military barracks, don't know if I should be saying this, but we got on
We haven't named names, so you're fine.
No.
What's his name?
Aaron Emerson. And we went out and got on the piss in Christchurch one day, and I had nowhere to stay. He's like, fuck it, just come back and stay at the barracks, but just be quiet about it. So we got in there. He said he went down to breakfast the next day, and there were whispers of a guy with a beard walking around the barracks. And I was like, the only people who are allowed to do that are SAS people. So they were like, there's some SAS guy walking around the barracks. We don't know where he's staying. We don't know where he's been. We don't know where he's come from. But shit, I'd like to have a chat to him. It's just me.
That's funny.
All right, let's knock it on the head for a Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow for another episode of the Agenda podcast, and we'll see you then.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda podcast. For more episodes, subscribe on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.